Somebody said to me today, brother, why are you doing this? Why are you teaching these things? These things are very bad for our people. Our people don't need to have these things. Why are you teaching these things? These are the things that our fathers did, and now where are they? They are all gone. All our fathers are gone. These are the things that our fathers were doing, and now they are all gone. Why are you teaching these things? I didn't know what to say to this brother. All our fathers are gone. What? You wanted our fathers to be alive to date? I mean, since you came on the face of this earth, how many people have you heard that even lived to 1,000 years? What are you talking about? All our fathers are gone. So your great-great-grandfather will be walking around 10,000 years old, and he's walking around with his 10,000 self. I can't even imagine 10,000 years. How would he be walking? Brother, the reason why our fathers are gone is not because they were saying these things. The reason why they are gone is because their time on the face of the earth was up and they moved on to the next dimension. That is why our fathers are gone, not because they knew the things that I'm teaching now. Perish. Akwaba. No be biara akwaba ba melanated through Jumezedo. Me de oba de another Roma obi biara a orishim bia no huye. I know by the mercies of the Creator, every single one of us is doing well, and I welcome you to the Melanated Truth today. And by popular request, I'm not doing Health Wednesday, so I'm going to go straight into the gods of the Bible. And that brings me to this perfect place where a lot of people are going like, Egypt failed because Egypt were worshiping a lot of gods. Egypt failed because Egypt was not worshiping the Most High. Egypt failure had nothing to do with the gods that were in Egypt. Egypt failed because they became too materialistic. They went after material things. They wanted to show the whole world that we got this and we got that, and they opened up their doors for everybody to come in. Egypt failed because they allowed everybody else to come in. Because they became too conscious of the physical things, the material things. That is why Akhenaten wanted Egypt to go back to their spirituality. And that is why he broke out. And that is called the Exodus, the real Exodus, not what is written in your what is written down in your Bibles for you to read. That's a real Exodus. They left the place because they were Akhenaten or Akhenaten was trying to restore the order of spirituality. And they were like, no. We are comfortable here. The whole world is praising us. The whole world is shouting our name. We are comfortable here. And that is why Egypt failed. Not because because of the God. I don't care what spiritual height you think you've attained. The minute you lose focus and you begin to get concerned with what men are saying, what people are saying, how people are praising you, how people are saying, oh, Brother Kojo is this and is that, and the minute you lose focus and you do that, that is when you start to fail. Because spirituality is that which you focus on the things that are not materialistic. When you focus on material gain, you become self-conscious, self-centered. When you focus on spirituality, you go beyond the self. So it doesn't matter what you're wearing. I'm not saying put on tattered clothes or all of that. No, that's not what I'm saying. But when you become too conscious, or when you become too aware of yourself, what people will think, what I'm putting on my face, what I'm putting in my ears, what I'm putting on my neck. If you become too conscious of these things, that is when you begin to take your eyes off that which matters and focus on that which is perishing. And when you focus on that which is perishing, you begin to perish along with it. Wherever you keep your interest to, that is what you become. Whatever you spend your time on, that is what you manifest. So when your whole concentration begins to go on the things that are perishing, you go along with it. You see, in those days, they were wearing jewelries and all of that, but it was all symbolic. Every single thing they were putting on had spiritual values to it. They were not just putting on stuff. Everything they put on represented a God. So if Egypt failed because the God of Israel made Egypt fail, that's not it. Because they lost focus of the things that matters most. They lost focus. Who? Let me ask, is the God of Israel that made Egypt great? Kemet, ancient city. Is the God of Israel that made them great? If he is not the one that made them great, where was he when Egypt was becoming great? Because if you don't want a people to be great, why make them great and famous before you stop them? You should stop them right there in their tracks. Didn't you read the story of Genesis 11 where it says that what they were building all the way to the sky? You believe such things? Anyway, I've touched on it. I don't want to go there. They're building all the way to the sky, and all of a sudden, the gods were angry that they were doing everything they wanted to do, so they brought it down. Well, where was the gods when they were building Egypt? Where was the God when they were building the God of Israel? If he's angry because he brought Egypt, where was he when they were building all the pyramids across the face of the earth? The pyramids didn't come down. They're still standing. Even the ones that are in the seas, they are still standing. So if the gods have a problem of any nation developing, why are they not stopping them? Where is the God of Israel today? Why is he not stopping Dubai from building all the tallest building in the world today is in Dubai, right? Unless I'm mistaken. Why is he not tearing it down? The gods that brought down Genesis 11, the Tower of Babel, why are they not bringing down the tower in Dubai? A people fail when they lose their spirituality. A people don't fail because they are in tune with their spirit. Irrespective of God, which God, and let me say this, and I say this boldly, irrespective of which God you serve, or which God you are connected to, or which God you've made a covenant with, so long as you heed to the deeds of that God or those gods, you will do well. Every God has it or her own laws, has his or her own laws. Every God has his or her own laws. It is not the God of Israel that brought laws to Egypt, you know. Sometimes we read the Bible and we like, it's like somebody had just told us, read this and read it this way, and that is the only how we see it. Let me paint a picture to you. If the God of Israel is the one that brought laws, and there were no laws before, right? No laws existed. Okay. Why was Moses running for his life? Why was Moses running for his life? Why did he run? If there were no laws in Egypt, that says that when you kill, you're gonna be killed. Why did he run? He ran because there was a law that says that if you kill, you'll be killed. If there was a law that if you kill, you will be killed, then there were other laws. Then there were other laws. If there was no laws, why did Genesis say the heart of men have become wicked? Wicked for what? There are no laws. There have always been laws. Because every God you go into contact with will give you his laws. What are laws? It's like every parent, every house. Think about the number of parents that exist on the face of this earth. Every single house have their own rules and regulations. That is laws. Every single country has their own rules and regulations. That is laws. There would always be laws. So the God of Israel is not the first person that one day I'll touch on him. I have a lot of things to touch on, I know. But one day I'll touch on it. The God of Israel came to meet laws. Before he gave laws to Moses on Mount Sinai, one day I'll teach you on that. Mount Sinai. Before these laws were given to Moses on Mount Sinai, there were already laws. That is why Moses was running for his life. Yes. That is why Moses was running for. What was the punishment for Moses killing the man? The case was never addressed. Who addressed it? Did Moses ask for forgiveness? Why did Moses ask for forgiveness for killing the man? Where do we read that? Show me. Somebody should show me. Listen, let me ask you another question. How did Egypt gain their spirituality? And when did Egypt gain their spirituality? Did Egypt get their spirituality after they became great? Or Egypt always had spirituality with them? And it is as a result of how spiritual they were, that is how come they became great. When did Egypt get their spirituality? If Egypt only got spirituality after they had become great, then none of us need spirituality. None of us need to get spiritual. What is spirituality? Going beyond this material world. This is not Spiritual Friday. You've got me talking about Spiritual Friday. Spiritual, going beyond. When you go beyond this material world, what happens is that you get exposed to certain kind of knowledge that does not exist in this material realm. And when you begin to bring that knowledge into this realm, you begin to do things that everybody around you will look at you like, how on earth are you able to do this? That is how a nation gets spiritual, and that is how a nation get advanced. That is why these white people were never advanced. Talk about white men brought civilization to Africa. No. The Africans knew how to take care of themselves, how to have proper bath. It was the black men that taught the white men how to take their bath. You didn't know that. How did our fathers know all these things? Because they were in tune with divine flow. They were in tune with divine intelligence. They were in tune with the divine stream. And the minute you begin to get in tune, think about this. The Creator knows everything, right? So he knows 100,000 years to come. He knows what is ahead of us. How do you think people get the intelligence to become inventors and creators? People get intelligent because they tap into a knowledge that already exists and bring that knowledge into this dimension. So the knowledge exists in the divine realm, the seventh dimension. They tap into that knowledge and they bring that knowledge here. But because everybody down here is focused on material things, when that knowledge drops down here, boof, everybody goes like, what? There's nothing new under the sun. The only new thing that exists is beyond the sun, not under the sun. It's scripture, right? This knowledge is even written. Nothing new under the sun. But when you go beyond the sun, everything is new. Are you getting what I'm saying? So Egypt got the things, the knowledge. Ancient Mesopotamia, ancient Sumeria, they got the knowledge that they had because they were in tune with that which knows ahead. Listen, when you fall in tune or when you come in tune with the divine, nothing surprises you. Absolutely nothing surprises you. Because before it happens in this realm, it's already revealed. Let me show you something. Why do you think you dream and see things that haven't happened yet? But you wake up a few weeks later, that thing happened and you go, wait a minute. Have I lived this before? Have I been here before? This looks like something that I've done before. Have I been here? That is what that means. Why? Because the dream world is more real to this physical realm. This physical realm is playing delay. You got what I'm saying? So the only how to stay spiritual is for you to connect. I was having a conversation with somebody today and the person was telling me, my son is able to just say things without even knowing what they are. And everything he says happen exactly. And when you ask him, you go like, a voice tells me, what do you think that voice is? What do you think that voice is? Somebody will tell you the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit. Listen. They are gods that have been created by the Creator. The Creator is not a God, but He created the powers there be. And these powers there be exist not to be Lord over us, but they exist to assist us. They are things that the Creator made sure that only the gods can do, and there are things that the Creator made sure only man can do. The things that man can do, the gods cannot do it. And the things that the God can do, the man cannot do it. We all need each other. We all need each other. There exists more in the divine realm than in this physical realm. There's no father that was true to his calling, that values spiritual principles and rules, that ended up in shame. No father. Every father that did not honor their fathers, check their life, they became nothing. If you are a child, your first most responsibility is to honor your fathers. The commandment says what? Honor your father and your mother on this earth. So when you come into this dimension, what you ought to do is to honor that which your father started building, so that your days shall be long, so that you should prosper in all your ways. If you don't hold on, honor your fathers. If that which your fathers believed didn't kill them, it sure wouldn't kill you. If that which your fathers believed didn't destroy them, it sure wouldn't destroy you. Anybody that come to me and say, but my fathers believe these things and see where my father ended up in, I will tell you, your father is a liar. He's not telling you the truth. He did something wrong. That is why his life is where it is. He went wrong somewhere. He disobeyed something he was never supposed to do. There is no father that had honored their fathers that ended up in shame. If you dishonor that which your fathers upheld, you will end up in shame. And that is why we are not growing up as a nation. That is why we are not developing as a nation, because we keep dishonoring our fathers. That is why we are dying. Let me tell you this principle and make sure you never forget this your entire life. The fathers that never honored their fathers will never have their children honoring them. Hear me again. The fathers that never honored their fathers would never have their children honoring them. The children that don't honor their fathers will never have their children honoring them. Do you know why these people put so much investment into their children? Because they are honoring the legacies of their fathers. Even these people that are not spiritual knows how to honor the legacies of their fathers. The legacy of their fathers is all they talk about. That is why they continue to build dynasties after dynasties, because they understand the principle of honoring your father. They understand the principle of honoring your mother. You find a 30-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 35-year-old speaking evil, gall about their fathers. Listen, anybody that does that would never have anybody honor them. This is a principle of the spirit. I don't care what you believe in. I don't care who you are. Watch what happens after you 20 years from where you are now. If you don't honor a father, nobody would come and honor you after that. Do you know why it's necessary that you honor your fathers? Because your fathers will die and go. Your mothers will die and go. But the spirits, the powers, the authorities that be, that your fathers went into covenant with them, they don't die. Ooh. Somebody gotta wake up. The powers that be, they don't die. So the covenants that our fathers went with them, they would always be there to honor it. You are the one that is dying and moving on to the next realm. They are assigned into this realm, and their job is to honor every child that comes after that bloodline. Spiritual principles cannot be broken by any school degree. Spiritual principles cannot be broken by a PhD. The powers that be, that you cannot see them, and then you open your mouth and say anything you want to say about them, disrespect them and say what have you. That is why if you don't understand something, don't talk about it. If you don't know something, don't speak about it. Don't sit down in your house and think you know something and all of a sudden speak into things you have no knowledge of, because you are picking up fight that you cannot fight and you cannot win. If you cannot win a fight with somebody that is stronger than you in the physical that you can even see, how much more do you think you are going to win a fight with the one that exists in the realms that you cannot even see? These powers that be, They were created here. They've always been here. They would always be here. You can speak disrespectfully about them and they would watch you bury your own self. Listen. If you disrespect the Mother Earth, do you know where you're going to end up in? Do you know where your body is going? How can you disrespect the very thing that is giving you life? The Mother Earth is the reason why you have a body in the first place. And you dare go disrespect the Mother Earth? You disrespect. She's the reason why you have a body. So when it says honor your father and your mother, the reason being that those that went into these covenants with your fathers do not die. They do not die like you do. You will die and go. Your children will die and go. Your children's children will die and go. And they will still be here. How can you, in this physical limitation, fight something like that? If you don't know something, just don't talk about it. I was having a conversation with somebody this morning. The person was asking me, do you know these names were here first? These names were here first. This outcome at the rivers and whilst this person was talking, anyway, that's how the Spirit speak to me. So the minute she started saying this thing, the Spirit came and picked on what this person was saying and began to explain certain things to me and was telling me, listen, before we moved down to the West African areas, these forces, these powers there be were already here. They were already here. Some came with our fathers to this place, right? But others the rivers were already here. The seas were already here. The mountains, the rocks, these things were already here, right? Who revealed themselves to our fathers? Did our fathers introduce themselves to these powers there be? Or these powers there be introduced themselves to our fathers? So even those who moved down here before we got dispersed, before we got scattered, when we moved down here, these powers that be were already existing, and they went into covenants with your fathers and said to your fathers, and your fathers also made covenants with them and say, so long as I live, me and my house would serve you, meaning would work with you, would do what you want them to do, so that you can also do what. So they went into a covenant. It was a signed deal with blood. And because they did that, no matter where you went on the face of the earth, they went with you. They went with you. That is why when you spend time with your brothers and sisters that are scattered all over the world, when you listen to their stories, you will realize that everything they are saying is similar to your story, though you lived miles apart. Why? Because it's the same spirit that runs in the bloodline. The same spirit that runs in the bloodline. Now, DNA test is all over the place, so you can trace. When you trace your DNA test, what do you think you are tracing? You are tracing your bloodline. When you trace your bloodline, do you know what you are tracing? Do you know what you are tapping into? You are tapping into the covenant of your bloodline. You can never run away from the covenant of your bloodline. Nobody can break that covenant for you except the same spirit that existed when your great ancestor was here. You never met your great ancestor, right? But the power that protects you, guides you, keeps you, is the one that went into that deal with your great ancestor. So they know you don't know. That is why we pour libation, we connect. When we connect, we are introducing ourselves to the powers that be, that we are the descendants of so and so and so and so. We are invoking a system that is already established. Talking about the things that our fathers believe is the things that kill them. The last time I checked, our fathers didn't kill themselves. The spirit of our fathers didn't kill our fathers. The last time I checked, it was the white man that came to uproot our fathers from our lands. And the reason why they were able to uproot our fathers is because our fathers abandoned the spirit. So you and the spirit, who should be more angry? So long as our fathers were in tune and connected to the powers that be, the white men could not do anything. That is why I always refer to our brothers and sisters in Congo. When King Leopold, and it wasn't only Leopold, all these other European countries also practice the same tactics. When King Leopold visited our brothers and sisters in Congo, what did he say? Cause them to lose their spirituality. I know sometimes when I say things, people don't get it. That is why I said it the other day. A nation that loses its spirituality loses its destination. King Leopold understood this principle because they have monitored and studied our fathers for a long time. When our fathers enslaved the Europeans, oh, you think slavery only started in Africa? No. Our fathers were the first to enslave the Europeans. The entire Roman districts were controlled by our fathers. The entire Spanish districts were controlled by our fathers. The English were nowhere to be found. Our fathers first enslaved them. So they studied our fathers. They studied the spirituality of our fathers. They studied how our fathers conducted their businesses and said, you know what, we've got the secret now. Let's retaliate. So they came down and said, let's make sure they lose their spirituality. The reason why our race are not coming together, the reason why our people are not fighting as one people is because we have lost our spirituality. And until we come back to that, we come back to connecting. Listen, you know why these hands are not one, are not at the same level? Do you know why? Because each and every single one of these hands represents one element. Each and every single one of them. So all of us are not going to operate in the same element. It doesn't even make sense. It won't happen. All of us are not going to operate in one element. This is ether. This is ether. This is what binds. That's why this can flow with every single one of them. Right? This is ether. This is what binds everything, holds everything. See my fist? See? It glues. This is ether. This is what glues everything. This is air. Because after ether, air came out first. So ether, air. This is water. That is why it dominates. Oh, sorry. You know I'm teaching. Don't. I'm not trying to do anything. Let me. If I do this, how am I teaching you? Okay. You know I'm not trying to be foul. Do you understand? This is ether. It holds everything. This is air. Air came first. Air is the firstborn of all. Air is the firstborn of all the elements aside ether. I exclude ether because ether is not necessarily seen. So after ether, air came. Then water came. Okay, let me use the two. Then, because I do this, it sounds too far also. Then water came. Right? See, that is why this is higher. So water contains the biggest space in the universe, or occupies the biggest space. Then after air, fire came. After water, fire came. After fire, earth. 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 I can take this back to Genesis. I can take this back to Genesis. Before everything else, when you even go back to Genesis story, before everything else, when you go back to Genesis story, what happened? Ether, everything was already there. Darkness was all over the place. Ether held it all together, right? Ether. Then air. He said, and the spirit hovered, the spirit moved. And the spirit moved, the spirit hovered. So the next is what? Spirit, air. Right? Move over the waters. Because the waters had covered the whole place. The spirit moved over the waters because the waters had covered the whole place. Covered the whole place. So the height, the water has covered the whole place. And he said, let there be light. Let there be light. So fire came next. Then he said, let the earth be separate from the water. That's what we saw. Earth. So all of us cannot operate in the same element. That is why some is connected to this. Okay, this people hardly connect to ether, but that is why some is connecting to the air. That's why some connecting to the water. That's why some connect to the fire. That's why some connect to the earth. So the covenants that exist, all the gods that our fathers encountered, all operate in one of these. Every single one of them operates in one of these. So naturally, everyone is connected to one of these. All of us cannot be the same thing. So how can we be speaking the same language? But you understand? But every one of the finger came from one hand. So we are all connected to one thing. We are all connected to one frame, but we perform different responsibilities. And it's out of all these responsibilities that it brings together a beautiful world, a beautiful planet. That is why it does not even make sense for everybody to say that all of us operate in one thing, one system, one God. It's all coming out of the same creator, the frame. But they are all not performing the same responsibilities. Do you understand the value of honoring your fathers? You are connecting to that which existed before your fathers. So when you honor them, you are continuing the legacy that they have in the realms of the spirit. And therefore, you would see the benefits that comes with that honor that you've done to your fathers. And it continues. Your children continues. Your children continue. That is why if you're a parent, it's your responsibility to teach your children to continue what you know. Because when you don't do that, you die. The elders, the fathers would ask you why you did that. Our fathers did not sell themselves. The white men came after learning the tactics of our fathers to enslave our fathers. They came to uproot our fathers. Now watch this. You think this person that came to enslave you, brutalized everything that you ever held on to, destroyed everything you ever had, destroyed everything you ever believed. This person is now bringing you a book and is telling you, this book that I'm giving to you, this is where everything started from. What do you think he will put in this book? When I'm teaching these things, somebody says, what you are teaching is very bad. What do you think he would put in this book for you? He is the one that came to enslave you, and he brought you this book. Show me one African country apart from Ethiopia that didn't have the white men bringing them this Bible. Show me. And you think they would bring this and reveal every truth to you? Do you know what you do to them? Even in our history books, they don't want you to know the truth in our history books. What makes you think they would want you to know the truth here? You think they're going to allow you preach the truth in your churches? Why would they allow you preach the truth in your churches? Because they know that if you preach your truth to your churches, the next time you meet them on the street, something's going to go down. So they presented the lies. They are the ones controlling your church, controlling everything. They said, oh, they don't. So long as they are doing this, we are okay. At least we are preaching the lies that we gave them. That's why they are not scared of you. That's why they are not afraid of you. Because they gave you everything you know. So long as you allow them to tell you your own history, so long as you allow them to tell you your own history, you will never know your history. Why would he ever tell you that? Why would he ever tell you that? So think about it. Spend time, think about it. What do you think if you were the one enslaving somebody and you were giving a book to the person? What would you put in the book? You put in the book everything that brings his freedom. Come on. There's a popular saying in Africa. Yenjina inkranimu tutunkran. Yenjina inkranimu tutunkran. Which simply means that you cannot stand in the midst of the red ant and say to yourself, I'm immune to the bites of this ant. I'm immune. No, they're going to chew you up. They're going to bite you in all the places that you don't want no ants in those places. I'm telling you, no. You don't want no ants in no places. There's an ant we call abobontohe. I can't say it in English. No, it's too heavy for my tongue. But in Chi, I don't really know. I think I know it, so I can easily say it. You don't want those ants to be biting you in all the wrong places. So you cannot stand in the middle of the red ants while they are biting you to take them off. Because whilst you are busy taking this one that is biting your ear off, another is biting your eyes. And whilst you are busy taking the one that that is biting your eyes, another is biting somewhere I can't mention. Right? And once you keep doing this, you are still standing in the midst of the ant and expect that you will be free from the bite of the ant. No! It's not going to happen. You're never going to be free. So if you want to wake up, you cannot wake up standing in the middle of their lives and saying that I'm up. So long as you stand in the middle of their lives, so long as you stand in the midst of their lives, you can never be up. Because whilst you think one brought you out of the lies, another is holding you down. That is the meaning of the proverb in our Ken language. You cannot stand in the midst of the ant and say, I'm avoiding the ant. That I'm out of this ant, whilst you are still standing in the middle of them. You cannot be engulfed in the lies and preach. You cannot preach any truth out of the book of lies. Listen. The only how you're going to wake up and see this book for what it is and get the knowledge that you can get from this book and leave is for you to come out of it. When you come out of it, you can see it from the right place, the right stream, and go like, wait a minute. There was loss in Egypt. That is why Moses was running away. The only how you can see that text is when you are out. It's not when you are in. When you keep getting dragged into this, you will never come out. That is why you think you are out of Christianity, but still everything that is coming out of your mouth is Christianity. Because you are still standing in the midst of the lie, claiming your salvation. When you come out, you begin to see the whole picture. Stay blessed. Have a great evening. I'll see you same time tomorrow. Listen, if you tell me continue gods of the Bible, God, I'm not. Tomorrow is sexual Thursdays, social Thursdays. I'm talking about sex tomorrow. I'm talking about relationship. Social Thursdays is about everything happening around us. But I want to finish the subject of sex and relationships, then move on to other things, love and all of that, and also come to marriage and come to divorce and come to all of these things that are happening in our societies. Come to loving ourselves, come to understanding ourselves, come to supporting ourselves, come to trading with ourselves, making sure we keep the money within our communities, not spreading the money into other communities. That is what Social Thursdays is about. And tomorrow we're going to do Social Thursdays. Nobody should tell me continue because of the Bible. I'll do that on Monday. Stay blessed. I love you. Bless you for supporting, contributing, expanding, telling your friend. Listen, do you know we are about 200 and something around now, right? Do you know if everybody should just bring one person in, overnight we can get 400 people? I'm just saying. I'm not saying everybody's going to do it, but I'm just saying if everybody brings just a person in, we multiply. We multiply. Bless you for bringing somebody in, but I'm throwing the challenge to you. If we get 100 views of this video, if we get 100 views, I'm expecting that every single one of the 100 should invite somebody to subscribe to this family. Stay blessed. I love you. See you tomorrow. Mwah.